Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Jake, and welcome to Alt Haven Presents Spooky Season, I guess. I am here with Megan. Megan, thank you so much for joining us. Megan has been a part of the channel since like the beginning of time. Since the channel started, Megan has somehow been a part of the channel in one way or another. Currently, you are on a podcast for the channel. You also host our movie nights, and hence the reason when I wanted to do a movie-themed like show for Halloween, you were my first choice and only choice, because I was like, no, there's no other options. Like, if Megan doesn't do this, then we're not doing this. Like, that's just how it works. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over 4 different movie horror franchises. We picked them at random, sort of. Like, some of them, it was like, I've never seen these, so let's do that, which I will, when we get to that episode, I'll tell you why I regretted that choice. But today's episode, the first one we're going to be doing, is on the Leprechaun series. Now, I will say my experience, before we get into the episodes and breakdown, my experience with the Leprechaun franchise was I owned the Leprechaun in Space VHS and in high school, and we digitized it to watch it because we loved it. And I even had a character on some online game called Mitten Spider was my character's name.
Yes!
If that gives you any reference to like my experience and like my love for the franchise, which if you don't know what that means, don't worry, we're gonna get into it. Megan, what was your experience with the series?
Oh, good question. Well, when I was young, I did not like horror. When I was a kid, I was terrified of horror. I could not visit that part of the rental store. I had to like do the block, right? So I feel like I came to a lot of things later, because once that switch flipped, I was all in on horror.
You're done. You're done.
I was done. So I had to catch up with a lot of stuff. So I don't even know what the first Leprechaun I saw. Probably not the first one. At that point, enough had been out that I probably just randomly caught some weird crap on cable, and I was like, huh, I, being a Murphy, Leprechaun should be my horror franchise. Look, yeah, Irish representation. What is happening? But like in a good way.
Is it
matter.
good representation? I mean, we start the first film. I guess we can go into the film. We start the first film with a man coming back from Ireland, drunk off of his ass because he went to his mother's wake. And he's drinking, and he's just so happy because he came back rich because he found the Leprechaun's pot of gold. And sure enough, the Leprechaun's mad that he's got his pot of gold and finds him, and then doesn't kill him. Like it starts really weird because he doesn't kill him. He just gets really upset with his wife, and his wife he scares her and she falls down the stairs. And then
she had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, she ends up dying, and then he ends up like having a stroke while he puts him in a wood box with a 4-leaf clover on top of it, and because of that, negated all of his powers, any of his abilities, just done. He is done for. And then he had like a stroke, and then we fast forward into the future where we meet a very young Jennifer Aniston. Before I get into that, I just want to say how dirty they did her by putting her on the cover. And I feel like they like did some weird filter on her face, and it makes her nose look really big and weird. She looks plasticky. It's so weird.
Yeah, I think they were trying to be like, look, Jennifer Aniston's in this. Look, but it's too much focus on her, and also don't do her like that. This is look, I don't want to say a fine movie. Here's the thing. There's no way this was the first one I saw, because I don't think I'd watch any other ones. Because, I mean, it's just like, and then, and I'll give it this. It looks like a movie. I think they shot it on film.
All of these things are true. Well, let's get back into the story a little bit. We fast forward to the future, and Jennifer Aniston and her father, who are from a big city, I presume, move to this because they want to get more, or the father wants to get to a more rural area. She gets to the house, absolutely hates it because she's this big city girl, and
she's a city girl,
and just complains the whole entire time. She's like, oh God, spider webs.
Bold choice to make one of your main characters so unlikable so quickly.
Oh, so unlikable. And then the other characters that we meet is the love interest and his brother and their dim-witted friend.
The best character. The best character, though.
Literally the best character.
Love Ozzy. Yeah.
Ozzy was my favorite character because he was the only character throughout the movie where you were like, yo, listen to, like, he's the one saying, like, don't go down that alley. You know, like, let's get out of here. The leprechaun's gonna kill us. Let's get out. Anyways,
he's not horrible or boring, which is every other character in this movie.
Yes. The love interest of it, he starts flirting with her, Jennifer Aniston, and she all of a sudden changes her mind about being in a world town because,
stay.
Oh yeah, because, women's will, instantaneous. Hot guy, I'm gonna stay.
Hot guy gone. Yeah.
Do I need cell phone?
That's every Hallmark movie. She's a city girl. She saw a country boy, and like by law, she's like, I'm gonna live here now and probably have little kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Which leads me to the scene that I probably hate the most. So the love interest owns a paint company. In fact, the side of the truck is like 3 Men Paint is like the name of the company. And he's flirting with Jennifer Aniston and she's got a paintbrush. They're painting this little like shutter, this window shutter. And it's like a single line of red paint. And she's got a single brush and she does it. And he's like, oh, you're not that bad. Oh yeah, you're pretty good. And I'm like, oh God. And then he goes, oh, looks like we're out of paint. And I was like, did you not, like, when you were painting this, did you not bring a bucket of paint over here? Because this is not enough paint for you to be out of paint all of a sudden, unless it was only the paint that was on that just made me so angry.
Even strokes. Wow. That's it. You got it.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah, regular Picasso. Put me out of business. Oh, I need another can of paint.
Oh, okay. Well, you just watch how a pro gets a can of paint.
All right, well, let me get a rag first, all right?
And
the
Jennifer,
at their job.
Oh yeah, and then Jennifer Aniston's like, well, if you think I'm great at painting, you should see how good I am about getting paint. And I'm like, oh, what is?
One of the weaknesses in the Leprechaun series is the romance. I don't think they've nailed one. Some are better, but I'm like, stop this. Stop trying to do. I see why it's in this one because this is a classic. Like, I don't think it was meant to be a series. It was just supposed to be, we took the monster, did a movie.
This feels like a one and done.
Yeah, they're like, it's fine. But like, no, I hate it, and it's too much in this film. It is too much in this film. I do not care about these people.
Oh, and then she goes to the truck, which is 10 feet away, and pulls a bucket of paint, or she's like finding a bucket of paint. And then the leprechaun is under the truck.
Oh my God.
Her leg. And she's like, what are you doing? Oh, it's thinking it's the dude. And I'm like, okay, what situation are you in where they're just like, yeah, I'm going to get under the truck and I'm going to start fondling. Like, this is such a weird.
Yeah. Is this an LA thing? I think she's supposed to be from LA. Is this regional?
Yeah, I don't know. This is not
the truck ankle fondle. Look at California just loves that shit.
Oh God.
That's the only explanation.
Yeah, it is so dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
And then, basically, to not give you beat for the rest of the movie, they go into the basement and Ozzy and the jerk of the little brother, who is literally just mean to Ozzy.
Kid's the worst.
Just a dick to Ozzy the entire time. They accidentally release the leprechaun by like moving the 4-leaf clover out of the way, and Ozzy gets bit. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna shine your shoe, and he's like, it's so weird. Ozzy's like, hey, there's a leprechaun, and no one believes Ozzy whatsoever. The entire time, no one believes Ozzy at all. Then they end up finding the gold in a truck that's been sitting there rotting forever. But here's the weird thing, is that it just shows up while they're there. Like, that's the weird part. It's like, oh, okay, so was it not there the whole time? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's explained.
And then like Ozzy goes to like bite the gold to see if it's real, and like then he accidentally swallows it, and then like the leprechaun is then on the hunt for his gold, and he is searching high and low for his gold. Chaos ensues. I will say the one thing that is different from this horror film that they do not repeat for the rest of the series, there is no nudity in this one.
Oh, hey, you're right. Not
So this-
not a boob to be seen.
No,
Weird.
which is rare for a horror film. You know what I mean?
Especially this time.
Yeah, this is 93. No
Yeah.
boob, no gratuitous nudity. It was
Yeah.
wild to me. Do you have a particular death or kill in this movie that you found interesting?
I mean, I would say this one doesn't have the flair that some of the later ones do. But I do like the idea of the Leprechaun throwing O'Grady, who is the guy from the beginning who had the gold. Turns out he was just like in a hospital after a stroke for years. But now I love that he throws him down an elevator shaft just so our heroine can emerge from the top and just waiting. He has not died yet, just so he can explain some important information to her and then dies.
Kill it.
How? How could we kill it?
A four-leaf clover. Freshly plucked from the clover patch.
Oh
yeah,
god.
so he like pops down like I guess a reverse Jack in the Box because he comes from the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm like, I guess.
Ugh.
Like she doesn't know her. He doesn't know anyone's coming, but he still held on for some
And he knew. He's like, you believe me? You believe in the leprechaun? Which she doesn't. She doesn't believe in the leprechaun.
At that point, she does not know.
Well, through the whole movie, I don't think she believes in the leprechaun even after the end when they kill it. Anyways, for me, the best death was Ozzy and the asshole brother go to a pawn shop place and try to get the coin evaluated, and they leave one of the coins there, and the leprechaun shows up and kills him by hopping on a pogo stick and jumping on his chest and killing him with the pogo stick.
A hint of what's to come. That's like there can be comedic. I had read that apparently this was completely a script.
Mhm.
They didn't mean this to be comedy at all, but the way Warwick Davis played this, and he nailed the character from the beginning. Leprechaun that we see in this movie is basically the Leprechaun the whole time. And because of that sense of whimsy, seems a weird word to bring to this, but he's a whimsical little dude who violent whimsy. And that's we get a little hint of it there. The pogo stick is he didn't have to, but he wanted to. He loves what he does.
I will say between the pogo stick and the fact that anytime they put Warwick Davis in any sort of vehicle, either it be a tricycle or a little car, they just sped up the film so it looked like he was going really, really fast.
You know what? That's why they go to it. They go to the well a couple times. Cause you know what? It's genuinely funny and it makes me feel good. I'm like, there it is. There he is. Look at him. That's what a leprechaun would do.
So you kind of hinted, or maybe we talked about this before the show, but the lore of Leprechaun is far from concrete.
Absolutely not.
And you can tell this because in this movie, there's a scene where he goes through the entire house and collects all of the shoes, puts them on the table, and shines them. And then later on, they use this as a means to distract him by throwing the shoes out into a field, and he has to collect them and shine them. Never once is this ever mentioned or used.
Never comes up again. Yeah, never comes up. I literally have notes about what's effective in each movie. In this one, 4-leaf clover. Sometimes not. And yeah, this one he's got to collect all the gold, but the gold doesn't do anything
special.
Itself.
It's just worth money, which in 1993 it wasn't worth as much as it gets valued in later movie. I think it's oh my god, each one is worth $50 or something. It was
later it's $500 a coin. I remember that specifically.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. If you're making a list of each movie, if I see a leprechaun, take the notes, as we all do, as we watch a horror film, so we're ready. Just throw them away. After each one, just throw it away because it's just going to change again.
I will say the only other scene that I think is I want to mention is later on in the film after they have been attacked multiple times by the leprechaun. They've shot him with a shotgun, which is hilarious to watch Warwick Davis just get blown away multiple times.
Oh yeah, and they just pop up.
They're out, and this is after the reverse Jack in the Box scene. They're told that they got to find a 4-leaf clover, and they got to go to this specific patch because he was growing clovers back there. And Jennifer Aniston and Ozzy, Jennifer Aniston's character and Ozzy are back there digging around trying to find 4-leaf clovers, and she can't get it, and she's like, "I give up. This is not gonna ever happen." And Ozzy's like, "You just gotta believe. You just gotta believe." And this bitch. This is why I can't stand. She turns to Ozzy and this is again the end of the movie and starts yelling at him. And he's like, "You and these like these fantasies, and you're trying to blah, blah, blah." And she's yelling at him. I'm like, you literally have seen this leprechaun multiple times. You've been attacked by this leprechaun. You've seen his magic. You're still like, magic's not real. And he's like, oh.
Forget it. We're not gonna find it.
You can too find it. You just gotta believe.
Damn it, Ozzy! I'm so sick of your magic and your stupid fantasies. Okay, it's too late for that now. We don't have time to sit here in a damn clover patch and look for clovers. That thing is gonna wake up.
You've lost your faith. You gotta believe. Got to.
All right, Izzy, here, look. I believe.
You found one. I told you. Yes.
Okay, we've got to get this on the leprechaun.
This little dude has killed people. The other thing, this movie will not kill any of its main characters. It refuses to. It brings other characters in so they can get killed.
Yes.
And I was like, well, I mean, she's right there. I know she's a final girl, but how can you be the final girl when everyone else is alive too? Doesn't count.
I was so scared that they were going to kill Ozzy because they were so mean to him.
I was terrified.
I'm happy that they didn't. All right.
Yeah.
So we don't spend all day on this.
Yeah.
Out of 10, what do you rate this?
Oh, I mean, I feel just gut feeling. I got to go right in the middle. I got to go 5. It started it, but it's not like something I want to throw on a lot.
You and I are in the exact same on this one. It's right in the middle. It's fine. I'm never going to actively want to watch it unless for some god-awful reason. It's fine. It's an okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. It looks nice sometimes.
Yeah. So after that, we're going to go into Leprechaun 2. Only a year after the first one is made. This one we start 1,000 years in the past as the leprechaun is talking to his slave. We don't know how he has him, why he has him, no idea. And he's telling
never brought up again either.
Yeah.
That leprechauns have slaves? Just this one.
And he's telling him, oh, on a leprechaun's birthday, if a woman sneezes thrice, and no one says God bless you, then they'll be wed. And that he will free the slave once he's wed. And he's all excited that he's going to be free. And they go to meet the woman, and you find out it's the slave's daughter. And the guy's like, yo, anyone else? I will give you anyone else. Yeah. And he's like, no, this is what I want. So she sneezes once, she sneezes twice, she sneezes thrice, and he says, God bless you, just so that the leprechaun doesn't marry him. The leprechaun gets mad, strangles him, and before he dies, he goes, in another 1,000 years, I'm going to find the descendant of your family, and I'm going to marry her. Fast forward 1,000 years.
Sure. Again, don't write any of this down. Doesn't matter.
No,
that sneezing thing never comes up. The God bless you never comes up again. Don't worry about it.
I will say there is a lot more rhyming in this one, which does continue on.
I've marked when rhymes, limericks, and monologues are used, and when they just drop it. It's important information. It's important. He's best when he's rhyming.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So we're 1,000 years in the future. We're in Los Angeles where we're with Bridget and Cody, who are the main characters. Bridget is the daughter of the descendant 1,000 years down the line. And Cody's just the schmuck that's in this movie, right? Cody works. I mean,
you nailed it. He's just a schmuck. He has no other defining characteristics. Who cares?
Yeah. His defining characteristics is that he works for a weasel, and the weasel runs a
Morty.
Morty, who runs a horror-themed tourist vehicle where they take a hearse and drive through LA and point out where people died. Like, that's literally
we get a Clint Howard cameo in this, though, as one of the rubes he's trying to bring in. I'm like, look, it's Clint. Yay! Oh, I'm thinking about better horror films.
I did enjoy Morty a little bit, like him always trying to scam people. Like, that was fun.
I like a con artist character. It's an interesting, and I'll give you this. I think he adds something interesting when we start dealing with the idea of greed in this film and how it becomes a theme. Morty's important for that. There's actually stakes and betrayal because of this character.
Now, this is where my remembrance of this movie ends, because I will be honest, after I watched all 6 of them, I literally went, "What happened in the second one?" It was so.
I got you. I got some notes.
Okay,
this
go
is
for
where
it,
the
'cause-
amulet comes in.
Yes.
Where we spend a lot of time figuring out like information about, like, I think a leprechaun, but there's an amulet now that, like, in this case, it's a little different in the movies where the amulet shows up. Leprechaun hates it. It hates it. So that works. 4-leaf clover's not mentioned at all in this. But apparently now raw iron is a weakness. Not cold iron, but I guess I played too many TTRPGs. Because I was like, you mean cold iron, right? Cold iron?
And it's not like a weakness so much as like it like hurts him. It's more of like it like it can entrap him. Like it's like hot. Yeah.
This is the one. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna get to memorable moments already. But this is the one where we have the Leprechaun and Morty in a drinking contest.
Yes.
I think it's the only time that it's St. Patrick's Day in the series.
Because that's when his birthday is. His birthday is St. Patrick's Day.
Like I forget because it's never mentioned again.
yes. They're I can't remember how they got a hold of the gold, but they got a hold of the gold or at least some of the gold. Again, this movie was so unrememberable.
Yeah,
like, it is just so because they're trying to get the girl, and the leprechaun ends up killing a guy. This is where we do get the first set of titties, though. This is the first set of titties we get. Bridget's character. There's another guy that's infatuated with her. Cody and Bridget are together. Bridget and this other guy are hanging out, and like they ditch Cody because Cody's being like a jerk, or she's mad at him for not
she wants
going.
To go to the she wants to go to the go-kart racing, which is important because it's another leprechaun in a vehicle thing later.
Yes. So
and I think it's Ian. He works at the go-kart thing, so he's like, "I'll drive you home." And of course, then he's a complete jerk. He's scum. He tries to make a move.
And she's like, "I'm with Cody," and she's like, "No." And then she goes inside, and then all of a sudden, he hears her voice, which him copying voices is a thing, which it was in the first one. It's pretty consistent. So copies the voice, and he looks over, and in the garage is Bridget.
Hey, definitely Bridget. It's definitely Bridget, everybody. Don't even worry about it.
And she's like, "Oh, I changed my mind. I want you." And then he like goes in, and then they do this thing where they never show the breasts and Bridget's face ever. So it's very much a different actress. Like they literally they were like, the actress is like, "I'm not gonna show my tits," and they're like, "Well, okay."
Those are stunt boobs, and that's a respectable part of the industry. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it.
He's going in to go like play with these boobies, but in reality, it's a lawnmower that's tilted up,
and he's about to go in and get the motorboat. He's ready. He's so excited. And then I just love that you see the leprechaun is like hiding, watching this, and he's so happy. He's so pleased with himself. He's like, "It has been 1,000 years since I've pulled this kind of shit." As it gets in closer, and then. I actually probably a money saving measure, but I do like the silhouette kill with the splash of blood against the wall.
I like that in general. Like I don't think it's necessary to always show the death every single time. Having that silhouette, it leaves it to your imagination. It also might reduce the rating score, because I know ratings are a huge thing, you know. But this is, I think, is again, I'm sorry, we are trying to remember this as we go. The rest of the films, I promise you, I remember. This one
is a little rough.
The police get involved because the guy's dead, and they think it's Cody because Cody, like, him and Cody or Bridget and Cody got in an argument, so like he's kind of wanted, sort of, but like that doesn't really play out very much. But the cops are involved. And they're trying. He gets Morty involved, and Morty and him are trying to deal with the leprechaun so that they can save Bridget, because she sneezes 3 times, and no one says God bless you, and so they're married, and she ends up getting like teleported to this this cave, and
the cardboard cave, which we see a variation of in several films.
Yes,
it's very much paper pasted up. It's brown paper pasted up.
Oh yeah, and that's the main storyline is Morty and him are trying to get him back. They end up capturing the leprechaun by like convincing him to like run through a door, and they have a big
like the dog door, and he goes into a safe, which I'm like, okay, pretty clever. And I'm sorry, a wrought iron safe.
Yes,
this is the important part.
Key thing. They close it. He's all upset because he can't get out, and they're like, "Oh, we got him. We're gonna get this." And then Cody,
my favorite scene.
Morty stays by and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, No, we can get the gold and we can get the girl. We're gonna make this
and he
happen."
locks Cody in a closet so Cody can't even do anything. And you're like, oh, of course. Morty's always shown himself to be an avaricious bastard. And here's where we see the end game of this.
And this is my memorable death for this one, which is he says, "I want your pot of gold. I want it." And what does he do? Monkey's paw wish. Well, guess what? The pot of gold appears in his belly and starts to grow out, and you can see the pot of gold inside of him. And Morty is just miserable in pain, and he's dying from this.
He has like 3 wishes. So his first is, I want your pot of gold, because this is classic Faye shit, by the way. I love how this plays out because it's classic, like, be careful what you wish for, you'll get messed up with it. Yeah.
And this one you get 3 wishes if you capture the leprechaun.
That's right.
We have to clarify because it changes later on.
It does change. Yeah. So of course his second one is like, because the leprechaun's like, well, I can help you. You just have to let me out. So he basically wishes for him to be let out, even though he still has to get up and open the door. So I think that was a bullshit wish, but thus is all wishes. And of course, at this point, he's in like agony. So he's like, get it out of me. And oh, the leprechaun's so happy because he's like, do you want that? Do you really want that? Like, oh, get it out of me. And he literally just like I guess a cesarean section. Like just rips open his stomach, and it is technically out of him anymore. Yep. And you got like Cody. Well, for a while he's at the window of the closet
watching it the whole time, which also a window in the closet's weird, but that's whatever. I mean,
you need to see his face, right?
Yeah.
But then I was like, so it's a great death. It's a great scene with his like distended flesh belly that they built. You can see, and he's acting the hell out of it. Plus, it was
chewing up the scene.
And and this character like betrayed the protagonist in a pretty horrible way. You know, it was greed, which should be the main theme of a Leprechaun movie, and isn't always. But here we get that hint of it. Like that's what would cause you to get got by a leprechaun. You know?
Oh yeah. The only other memorable scene is, which you briefly mentioned it, before all of that happens, they're at a pub and Cody goes into the bathroom, and while Cody's in the bathroom, he sees the little leprechaun feet walking, and he's like, oh no. And then he opens the door thinking he's gonna see the leprechaun, and no, it's not. It's just a person of short stature standing there.
It's Tony Cox from the Bad Santa films and multiple other stuff.
Oh, he's in so much. But
so you're like, I know that guy.
Yeah, and he's just standing there with the creepiest, weirdest smile, just like,
I thought something was gonna happen. Turns out, no, I think he just likes freaking people out in the bathroom. Oh, so it is important because he's like, take some of my gold, and it is a gold wrapped chocolate coin, which is important for the end. Actually, it is a thing that pays off, and I will give the movie credit for setting something up and knocking it down. No, I'm going to give it credit. I'm not saying a lot of credit, but I'm giving it credit. Not all of the films do this.
This is where the next scene he walks out and he meets up with Morty, and Morty sees the leprechaun across the thing.
It's just sitting at the bar, like, I see you. Hey!
And that is where we get our drinking scene where Morty drinks the leprechaun under the table and is golden and great. Is there any other memorable scene? Or are you ready to rate this one?
I'll say 2 things. One, I appreciate that Bridget has separate plot and that she's actively trying to escape the cave the entire time, and is a couple times is able to outsmart the leprechaun a bit. They give her something to do, which they didn't have to, and I appreciate. And as I said, I do like the setup of like, so at the end they end up in the cave of the leprechaun, and they're trying to escape. The leprechaun needs that last piece of gold, right? And he pretends to be Bridget again, blah blah blah. But our Cody at one point is like, okay, fine, here's a coin. As the leprechaun, as Bridget, and then he's like, ha ha ha, I fooled you. And then they can kill the leprechaun because it turns out it was the milk chocolate coin. So I was like, I will give them that. That is a thing that was set up and pays off. A great payoff.
I'm glad you remembered that.
Yeah. It's because it's few and far between a lot of other stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna be surprised by my rating though.
Okay. All right. What do you got?
6.
Wow, we went opposite
I find this
directions.
more interesting than one because
So-
it's got a little weirder stuff in it.
So for me, the note I wrote is honestly the thing is that it got is I forgot it, which is worse than it being bad. Like being unrememberable. I would rather watch a bad film and be like, oh my God, this film's so bad, and then talk about it. This was just unrememberable. It just like the kills were meh. Like, yes, you got the pot of gold, but like, so to me, it's a 3 out of 10. So we started the same.
We're gonna start diverging. Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it. That's okay.
It is fine. We've got 4 more films. That's right.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll meet again somewhere on the timeline.
So,
not these next 2 though. I can feel it.
So Leprechauns 3, 1995, another 1 year after the previous one. This time we get Warwick Davis in Viva Las Vegas.
Like, why did it take this long to get the Leprechaun in Vegas? This is the place a leprechaun should be.
This one, I know we're going to diverge on this one because the thing about this movie is that this is the movie that I feel is the most out of place out of all of them.
And I feel this is the movie that the rest of the Leprechaun should be.
I don't have a problem with it being in Vegas. It's not that, it's just all of the lore in this one is just like it just there's no consistency so much. Okay, so this one we start this one off with a leprechaun statue with an amulet around it being sold at a pawn shop. Yeah. Amulet's back. We get the statue, which the statue and the amulet is a reoccurring thing for the rest of the film, or
that is
it is reoccurring some of them, but it is still a thing.
And another pawn shop.
Leprechauns
love pawn shops.
Apparently, the pawn shop owner takes the amulet off to evaluate it, and guess what? The leprechaun is no longer stone and is now where person is going around.
Yeah. I appreciate how he gets the statue, because it starts with the tone of the movie. This guy comes in and he's missing an arm. He's missing a leg. He has an eye patch, and he's like, I just need to sell this so I can get gas and get the hell out of here. And he says, whatever you do, don't remove the amulet. And he takes whatever cash he's given and he gets out. And I love that there was a movie we never saw about this dude. That is a very bad day.
That I appreciate. Like that is fun because you're like, okay, there could be a prequel that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Like that I very much like. He comes back to life, and I can't remember. You tell me, do you remember how the gold gets delivered or how people get gold in this one? Because it's basically one coin, if I remember.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, because we cut back and forth to the pawn shop owner a couple times. At one point, he takes out a CD-ROM of mythology and folklore to learn about the leprechaun. Not a book. He like waits for it, and it has all that animation. And my God, it was like incarnate for leprechaun.
And it comes back multiple times because that's how they spread information. Yeah. They're like, instead of like making people know, we're just gonna use this to give lore about leprechauns, which is not consistent with any of the previous 2 films whatsoever.
Oh no. But like, so we keep going back and forth, and the leprechaun's been kind of like tracking him. And when he finally because he eventually loses the amulet. The close thing is the guy's got the amulet, so the leprechaun can't get him. He eventually loses the leprechaun. He loses the amulet. Leprechaun gets him, and the our main characters, the magician's assistant and the soon-to-be leprechaun show up there at one point, and they find the gold piece. If I remember that correctly, that's how they get it.
And tell me I'm not the only one that feels this, but the main dude in this is a creeper, right? Like he's the second you see him, I'm like, ooh, like, oh, he's gonna die, and then you're like, he's the main character.
It's set up where, like, you know, he's giving a ride. Like, he's new in town. He's new in town in Vegas. We find out that he's supposed to be going to school, and he's got this check from his family that apparently loves him very much. And he's helping out this young woman who turns out to be the magician's assistant. He gives her a ride to the casino, and he's like, hey, can you get me in? Because he's underage. He's under 21. He cannot legally go in there. And he basically kind of like harangues her till she's like, okay, listen, I'll sneak you in, but if you do anything, you're going to lose my debt. So do not bet. Do not gamble. Just go in, take a peek. And of course, he gets in there. And again, this is the movie that I think that has greed one of the most strongest as a theme.
Which I mean, you're in Vegas. Yeah. Like, that's like...
Yeah. But I love that, like, we have the, like, protagonists bringing it upon themselves, which I kind of like. Yes. Like, he gets tempted. He cashes in this, like, $20,000 check. and loses everything because he can't help himself.
And he's
But
losing. He's losing, and the house is stealing from him because they're
plus
using
it's cheating. The house is cheating. They established that. But when he gets that coin, he gets the leprechaun gold, goes back in. Now all of a sudden he wins because he does a win. Because so how it works here is if you have a coin,
you get one wish.
You get one wish. One wish,
and it stays with you as long as you've got the coin.
Coin. Yes.
Because he doesn't even do it on purpose because he finds the coin.
He doesn't know.
Because he goes back to the pawn shop to sell his watch because he's ran out of money. And the woman that is at the table is like, oh, you're about to win. No one loses that much. And doesn't turn it around. And she's like,
Loretta's my favorite character. I love her.
And she's like, oh yeah. That watch looks
she's
like
doing her job.
Go across the street to the pawn shop. So he goes across to the pawn shop, sells the watch, or goes to try to sell the watch, finds the coin. He goes, I wish I was back at the casino on a win streak. And then he appears back at the table and he's winning, and they can't stop him from winning. They try to cheat him, and the device breaks.
And they can't.
And he wins and wins and wins. And then another sleazebag comes in and is like, oh, you're winning so much. Oh, I want you to, his name's Mitch. The character's name is Mitch. He comes in, he's like, oh, I want you to stay here. It's on the house, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, we need to figure out how he's winning, what's going on.
Yeah. This movie has some of my favorite side characters because we have Loretta, who is she works the tables. She wants to be the magician's assistant, and the magician, who is another great character, total sleazebag, thinks he's great. He's like, no, you're too old and fat. She's not fat. But anyway, she's like, I'm going to get a boob job and everything's going to be fixed, right? So we have Loretta. She's also played by Carolyn Williams, who's from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. She's one of my favorite final girls. So anyway, she's fantastic. Magician, arrogant sleazeball, love him. There's two goons who just have conversations which I suspect might have been improv, and they're hilarious.
They're great. They're great.
Yeah, and then you have the casino owner, Mitch, who is like another version of a they're just different versions of sleazeball, and I enjoy even the pawn shop owner. Fascinating dude. Anytime anyone who's like not the main dude is on screen, I'm having a good time. There's stuff happening that has nothing to do with him.
You're making me feel like I'm wrong on my choice of how bad this movie is, but we haven't talked about the movie. You're just talking about the characters.
Okay, all right, I got you.
The characters are great. So he's got the coin. Loretta's like, oh, it's the coin. We got to get the coin. Loretta steals the coin.
Loretta's smart. Yes.
Loretta steals the coin and then is like, oh, I want to be beautiful again. And they do they do what movies do a lot when they make a character look beautiful, which is they take the wig off, and take them out of baggy clothes and put them in normal clothes.
And all of a sudden, she was always a smoke show. Everybody, just boom, yeah.
And Loretta's like, oh, yeah. And then Fazio, who is the magician, is like, oh, it's the coin. I want to be the best magician.
Yeah.
And he steals the coin from her, and she then balloons up and turns into...
Well, the leprechaun shows up. When you lose the coin, leprechaun shows up and says, now you have to pay for stealing my gold.
Yes.
So he's like, oh, you like having the boobs and butt? I can help you.
Yeah. Well, before that, we should go back when Scott, the main character, loses the coin. The leprechaun shows up and then bites him, and then he gets away from him.
Oh God, yep. This is important that he gets bit.
He starts changing into a leprechaun, and throughout the movie starts having a really bad Irish accent.
And he has like little wispy, like ginger sideburns. And he loves potatoes now.
Oh my God.
This is so important that one of his leprechaun traits is going to a diner and ordering every potato dish. This is a thing that happens in this movie.
While he is changing into a were-leprechaun, that's when we have Loretta getting ballooned up and becoming a beast. And does she explode from it? I can't remember how she does.
This is great. First the boobs, then the lips, which are terrifying, and then the butt. So by the end, we have lips, boobs, and butts all blow up into like, it's almost flesh confetti. It feels like confetti came out, so I don't know if that was mixed in there, but she can't get through the door because her hips are too big, and then she just goes, pa-pam.
Now that was quite a load to have to explode. What a lovely lass. I had to blow up your ass, but now I must hit the road.
What one of my favorite deaths because it's ridiculous.
This is that was my second favorite death. My first favorite death actually happens before Loretta gets the coin, because Mitch actually gets the coin first.
Oh, because he grabs it from Loretta. He takes it from
Loretta
her.
gets it, and then Mitch grabs it, and then he says, because Loretta is just making fun
Not
of
even
him.
on purpose. Not even on purpose. Yeah.
Loretta's making fun of him because he's obsessed with Tammy, which is the magician's assistant, and he's like,
Yep.
oh, I wish I could have her, or something like that. And then all of a sudden she walks over and she's like, oh, Mitch, I want you. You're so wonderful. Oh, I need you
they go
now.
up to his room, which is the most amazing set design. Oh my god.
Set design, yes. Actual bedroom? Oh my god.
There's a neon sign with like from a strip club. He's got like an M done in cheap fabric on the front of his bed. It's though a good thing that he has, like, we don't have flat screen TVs yet because this is important.
Yes, because while Tammy and Mitch are like about to get it on, that's when Loretta steals the coin back.
Loretta's smart. She knows. She saw them going up and said, "This is my chance." And of course, now that he doesn't have the coin,
then all of a sudden Tammy's like, "What? What did you do? Why am I here?" And Tammy
kicks
runs
him the balls.
Away. Yep, Tammy gets mad, kicks him the balls, runs away, and then the TV starts talking to Mitch. Yes. There's a sexy woman, and then she comes out of the TV, and then we get like cutaways to what's happening with Loretta and going back to Mitch, and you're seeing the like Loretta getting hot and like Fazio being upset because he wants the coin, and then you go back and while this is
Mitch
happening,
has not questioned any of this, by the way. He's like, hot lady from TV, let's do it.
The only thing he questions is that the Leprechaun keeps showing up on the TV screen as different
little ads. Oh, it was so good. He's like a little lawyer,
and
I was like,
priest. Oh yes,
that's one of my favorite parts too. I love the little Leprechaun ads because they didn't have to put that effort in, but they did.
The signs point to a tragedy about to happen. Casino owner dies. The bed of lies.
No, and he keeps going. Did he just say my name? Was that my name? What's like?
But he's like, also being like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. His death is my favorite death because his death is literally he realizes that he's having sex with a robot. That literally
all of a sudden you look though and she's a robot. She has not been a robot.
Normal hands. Human tits, a human head, and human legs. The rest is a robot.
Everything else is metal.
And then it electrocutes him to death.
Yeah. Oh, here's what I'm saying. Mitch had a great time until the last 30 seconds.
Oh yeah.
So like, there's worse deaths to have. Like up until that end, he was having a great night.
Then Fazio gets the coin. Fazio's like, I want to be the best magician in the world. He gets put. He loses the coin. He gets put into a box, and the Leprechaun saws him in half.
With a little chainsaw. With a little chainsaw. Because I love it because he's like doing his act, and then the Leprechaun comes out of the box. And being the consummate professional magician that he is, he keeps the show going, even though someone he does not know just showed up. And he's gonna assume, I guess, he knows the gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, he does not. He uses a real chainsaw and just cuts him in half. Oh, and my favorite is then he splits the box open and the little intestines come plopping out. I was like, again, attention to detail.
That's my favorite death in this. The monkey's paw wish with the coins were really amazing throughout the whole entire thing. It pays off.
I like that. Yeah.
The werewolf leprechaun is weird and awkward and strange, and it does not make any sense to me throughout the whole entire movie.
Also doesn't make sense is Cody and what's her name again?
Cody and Tammy.
Yeah, I was like, not pretty. Anyway,
it's Scott and Tammy. Scott and Tammy.
Okay, see, like, main character names are gonna be rough. They end up together, and that's bullshit. I'm like, I was like, honey, you can do better. Do not. This dude did exactly what you said not to do, and basically caused all this. Because because the final scene is at the magic scene. I think that's the final scene, right? Is at the magic show.
Yeah,
and then this is when
destroy. Yeah, he ends up just being on flames throughout the sky, just moving around.
In this movie, you have to destroy the gold, which involves a flamethrower.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's not a 4-leaf clover. No. It's not wrought iron. The amulet doesn't destroy him. It just seems to like
freeze
But this
him?
they just. Yeah, and I like that they melt the gold and he's just like up in the air, like just on fire. I appreciate that visual.
So I know that we're going to be different. To me, this movie felt like someone wrote a script and they were like, well, we own the Leprechaun franchise. Can we convert this to a Leprechaun movie? And then they did that. That's like, if they would have replaced the Leprechaun with like a djinn and been like, oh, it's a evil genie movie.
It's Wishmaster.
Yeah, it's Wishmaster. Exactly. Like, I wrote this Wishmaster script and they're like, well, we don't own Wishmaster, but we do have the Leprechaun movies that we got to do. They're like, done, let's do this. Like, that's what this feels like. And to me, that's where I know we're going to me, this is a 2 out of 10. A 2
Wow.
The Leprechaun.
I thought we were friends, Jake. I thought I knew you.
The werewolf Leprechaun killed it for me. I was just like, I hate this. I'm done. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I'm giving this an 8.
Okay.
So, one, directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, who also directs the next one. I love him. He's a B-movie director he knows what to do. He knows to keep interesting stuff on the screen all the time. He's good at a balance of tone. Like, we're going to have comedy and we have horror, and it's not weird, like, why is this funny now? Why is this serious now? So, that's one. I'm just naturally going to like it. 2, I love that he's doing full limericks now. The Leprechaun is not just rhyming, full limericks, which is the only time we get him doing limericks, which is more work, and I appreciate that they did more work on this. Mwah. And then we get the Leprechaun with an Elvis impersonator, and I feel like that's where the script started. Someone saw an image of the Leprechaun showing up and an Elvis impersonator coming out and going, hey, how's it going? And then the Leprechaun, Warwick Davis doing his Elvis impersonation as the Leprechaun. Thank you very much. And that's the moment. There's nothing horrific that happens. The Neville Falls.
Only peaceful scene. The only peaceful scene in the whole.
Yes. Oh, and that it has greed as a theme. I think that this is the most Leprechaun-y of all Leprechaun films, but I think I also like my Leprechaun films ridiculous because he's a leprechaun. There's a certain level of horror I think is hard to reach with a leprechaun, unless you're going to play him as something else.
Look, you're talking about ridiculousness, so I think it's important that we talk about Leprechaun 4 in space, which I feel is the most ridiculous of them all. This one, again, only a year after. This one's in 1996. This one comes out. This one... I don't want to let
any spoilers. I've done a whole podcast episode just on Leprechaun 4. Just spoiler alert. I have talked an entire podcast worth of this movie.
I love this film so much.
Yeah!
So this movie starts off with Warwick Davis, the Leprechaun, and a space princess negotiating. So he has captured her and he is trying to convince her to marry him because he wants to become a king. And she's like, well, I can marry anyone. You're ugly. I don't want to marry. And then he's like, but I'm rich. And your father specifically has given all of your money away to people to live good.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah.
And so she sees the gold and she's like, I'm in. I'm totally in for this. Meanwhile, while this is happening, the U.S. Space Marines are coming in because for some reason the Leprechaun has done $500 million in damages to oil refineries.
Mining?
Yeah, the mining, which was never explained ever again, or what he's doing because he's a leprechaun. Like, what is he doing? Like, he's literally
he was bored.
And not only that, they don't even know about the space princess. So it's not even like they could have easily been like, oh, we've been tasked to help out.
We have to rescue her.
No. They're like, he's been messing with our minds. We're going to go get him. I'm like,
I just imagine him chewing through power lines. Like he just went.
So Space Marines come in. They're fighting. Warwick Davis has a lightsaber.
They do that early.
Oh yeah, he
legally distinct laser stick. Shillelagh, I think.
Yeah. Oh yes. Then they throw a grenade and it lands, and the princess is a little too close, and so the Leprechaun runs, jumps on it, saves her life. His body flies into multiple directions. The princess loses a hand in the process because of the explosion, but she also gets knocked out. So the Marines go and save her, and in the process, the guy that threw the grenade is like, I did the kill, so I deserve this thing. And he walks over to the Leprechaun's leg and pisses on it. And in that process, you see the worst, like green, like pixel art,
almost like rotoscope, but Probably, yeah, but with not that effort.
Yeah, no, not even rotoscope
This
effort.
is a bit of lore we never come back to, but this is important, everyone. This is so important. If you ever get a chance to urinate on a dead leprechaun, don't do it. Not worth it, everybody.
So
not worth it.
Goes up the P stream, and then we go back. Then we meet the rest of the cast, which I will say I do love this cast a lot.
They're having fun. Like, yeah. Is it aliens? Absolutely. It's absolutely aliens if Leprechaun was a xenomorph. So they're having fun with like the Space Marine. Like everyone's got their character and it worked. I think it works. I'm interested. I can tell those characters apart, which is great.
I think, and also the metal skull on Metalhead. That was his character name, by the way, Metalhead.
I love that character that with the sergeant. Like he's just so and I love that like this is absolutely very much taking the piss out of the idea of like Space Marines.
Oh yeah,
they're all like aggro, yeah, like peeing on corpses. And because he's the thing, he tells him, "I deserve this." And the sergeant's like, "Hell yeah!" He's all on board. They do this all the time, apparently.
Oh, yeah. So we're meeting the characters. We find out a little bit that there's romance between the female Marine and the Marine that pissed on the leg. And
Kowalski.
Ed Kowalski. And then we also discover that there is a doctor on board that's like supposed to like be involved and like has to be there. We discover her earlier, but our main male character, Books, is falling for Tina, I believe her name is. No. Yeah, Tina. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, the doctor who's not mitten hands.
Yeah. And so he's falling for her, he's hitting on her, and the two Marines decide to sneak off to a place to go have sex.
Have a little
And that is when the best death scene in this movie happens.
Maybe the entire series. The entire series.
And it's not graphic. It's just you know what's happening. He's
all of a sudden you're like, oh no.
Yeah, they're like up against the wall making out, and he's like, "Ooh, stop being so rough." Like, and she's like, "Oh, I haven't even started." And he's like, "Oh, ow!" Like he's like, and she's like, "Oh, are you all right?" And like he falls down. He's like, "Oh, what's happening?" And you look down, and between his legs, you can see that there's like a bubbling and a movement in between his legs at his crotch, and his zipper undoes, and his pants rip, and the leprechaun comes out
like a green phoenix.
Yeah.
From this guy's dick.
Oh, leprechaun dick. It was the fucking best death.
I would tell you this usually when you're like, referencing a movie funny, we're doing aliens and we're doing Alien, right? I'm like, usually it never reaches that. I would say, I might argue that Leprechaun 4 beat Alien for how the creature emerges from the body.
The frightening level.
Horrible.
Yeah.
But dick?
That'd be a lesson to you, lad. Always wear a prophylactic.
Yeah, that's
another
rough.
fear. That's another level of fear.
Yeah, this is rough. This
he just comes out.
And it's not even, and here's the other thing, the thing I really love about it, and this is that they don't like linger on it. Like he gets out and then he jumps out and like is running around. Like it's not like, oh, we really got to focus on this. It's not, it's just like,
we all know what happened.
It's just like, yeah, we know what happened. We don't need to explain it anymore. You know exactly what happened. That's when after that they get upset because like the Marines are their contract's up at midnight, and the doctor, who is Dr. Mittenhands, which is very German Nazi coded like character.
It's not subtle.
No,
it's not subtle.
Throughout this so far, you've only ever seen him on a monitor. There is a scene that is very funny where Metalhead comes up and he's like, "Oh, I want to talk to the doctor." So he tells another Marine that he wants to talk to the doctor, and then the Marine turns around and looks at a screen and says, "Bring up Dr. Mittenhands."
Like the movie does intentional comedy. It's fun.
Oh yeah. And then, so eventually, they're arguing about the contract, and this wall opens up, and Dr. Mittenhand rolls out. He is half human, half robot. It's just like a human arm and human chest and human head, and the rest is a robot, and it's keeping him alive. And then he keeps like glitching out because he hits his own like chair and goes crazy about it. Oh, there's nothing. Like the characters are so good in this movie. The characters are so good. The deaths are great. Yeah. Well, they discovered that the princess has regenerating powers and that she grows her own hand back. And this gets Dr. Mittenhand going crazy because now he's like, oh, we got to extract her DNA, and then I
can rebuild my body.
Oh, yes. So good. So good. And
stuff
then,
has nothing to do with the Leprechaun, which I
No,
appreciate.
nothing.
Because that's a sci-fi idea, and this
Yep.
is a sci-fi film.
Mm-hmm. And they have taken the Leprechaun's gold that was in the thing, and they've got a
Yep.
shrinking laser, which is very important. And they shrink
so
his gold
important.
down. And the Leprechaun goes around, kills some people here and there. They're scared of him, and they're trying to hunt him down and kill him. And
He's the alien going around. Oh, this is important. So no rhymes, no limericks. He's just doing Shakespearean monologues now.
Yes.
As he's walking through the ship. He's doing monologues. And I was like, so they have the most ridiculous of the films. They have him doing kind of serious Shakespearean monologues. And I'm like, I love this. I love every bit of this.
And his powers are so weird in this one because then he like turns around and takes Metalhead and makes Metalhead think that he's a woman and like dresses and he dresses
He does
up
a whole drag show for no reason. Because he could have just had them attack people. No, he's got this guy in a gold dress. He's pulling it off, by the way.
Yes.
And he's pulling it off. Like, I'm going to give him all credit for that. But I'm like, but I think it's part of the movie's ethos of always something interesting on screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
no,
like,
I can see that.
What would make this more interesting than just I control the sergeant now?
Yep.
Oh, we had forgotten though that like when the Leprechaun comes to kind of reclaim Zarina, the princess, because right now the Leprechaun's already decided like, okay, listen, already he's kind of into it until he's like, as he's having a monologue, wait a second, I'd have to share. How about this? I'll just marry her. I was like, I was like, wed her, bed her, and kill her in one night. So Shakespeare. So he's got this plan. But of course, Serena's basically got the same idea. She's like, listen, I'll marry him. He'll give me the gold. And then I'll be... I love both of them. And I wish this relationship worked out. I think they're a great villain couple.
Yes. Yeah. They hate each other and they love each other. Like, it's great. He goes to reclaim her. Mitten Hand gets involved and he decides to torture him. And he takes her DNA and grinds up a spider and a scorpion.
It's a scorpion and it's like blue goopy stuff. The Leprechaun's so happy to be doing science.
And
he's doing science. Yeah, he's in a blender. The science blender.
And then he puts it in a syringe and stabs Mitten Hands with the syringe, which then he transforms into a scorpion spider man thing, which
as he refers to himself,
Dr. Mitten Spider.
I am no longer Mitten. I am Mitten Spider. I'm like, oh my God, movie, I love you. And it's a great design.
Yes, it's a great design, and the costume's great. And it wasn't just like they show him moving. Like they did a lot of really good work. It wasn't just like, do some like claymation stuff. No, like they built it. They did such a fucking great
There's
job.
some wet puppets going on here. They moistened parts of it. It's gooey in areas. Oh, it's so good.
We forgot to mention that the cave that we were talking about from the second movie, that is the cave that he gets blown up in.
You're right. You're right. The card, with the paper
cardboard.
and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So they go around, they're fighting the Leprechaun.
We lost most of the Marines at this point. Except for books and what's like the smart guy? Sticks. The one who's like, because with Mitten Spider, I think does a Leprechaun trick him or he influences him to set the self-destruct? Because Mitten Spider doesn't want to self-destruct it because that's all his work's on there.
Yeah. I think he influences him. And this is while the Leprechaun is trying to find the gold. And so Sticks is going to try to cancel the explosion. And that's where the Mitten Spider Sticks like fighting is happening. And like,
so you get spider stuff there. And then you get Leprechaun. Like you've got two like villains going on, which is kind of cool, keeps it exciting.
And this is where we get the best fight ever, which is they use the shrink ray, turn it around, and make the Leprechaun a giant leprechaun. And
in the cargo hold.
In the cargo hold, and he's fighting, and he's like running around. He's super big and super, and they end up canceling out the self-destruction, and they launch him out, and because of the cold,
airlock,
he launches him out the airlock. He goes out in the airlock and he blows up into a bunch of pieces, and then the movie ends with the best ending it could possibly be, which is a giant leprechaun hand turning and giving the middle finger.
I was like, movie bravo. Yeah,
this to me, this is a 6. This is I'll give this a 7. This is a 7. I loved this one. I've watched it multiple times. I think this movie is fucking great. It's goofy. It's off the wall. I feel like this is where they're starting to get their stride because they realize what they are, and they realize we're making Leprechaun films. We're not saving lives here. Let's have some fun with this. What are you rating this?
Okay. This is weird because this is where I say this is where they finalized the form and then lost it. So weird. If I gave last one 8, I think I might have to give this 9. I think this is everything I want out of a Leprechaun film. Very few horror franchises go to space and get some of their best stuff. And this is some of the best stuff. Also, I almost forgot to mention, I appreciate this movie does have nudity.
Yes.
But the movie does it in a way I appreciate because I'm a big fan of consensual boobs. I think that like you can have nudity, but like why does it have to be, I snuck a peek? So in this case, Zarina, as a member of the royal family, she just shows the Marines at one point. She just opens up her shirt. She says, "I'm sorry it's come to this, but you deserve it." And they're all like, and the doctor's like, "Here's the thing. When a member of the royal family shows you her boobs, it's a death sentence." So there's boobs in the film, but they are threatening boobs with gold glitter.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was so good.
Like that's this movie, I think, in a nutshell. I'm like, that's right. That's right. Fear those boobs.
When I was talking to people about this franchise that had never seen it, and I was describing, okay, first movie, rural, second movie, Los Angeles, third movie, Las Vegas, like, where do you think they went fourth? And when I tell them space, they're like, oh my God, that's a huge jump. And I was like, yeah, where do you think they went for the fifth movie? And they're like, oh my God. They're like, I don't know. Did they go back in time? And I was like, nah, they went to the hood.
You know, it's nuts. Back in time makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's where you go next. Like, nah. You know what they did? They wanted to keep it real. So, they wanted just to take down.
This is the first time that there's a gap between the movies. We go from 96 to 2000. So Leprechaun in the Hood is this one, and it came out in 2000. Which I will say, the first like star-studded like a horror film from the Leprechaun franchise. We have both Ice-T as one of the main villains of the movie, and we have Coolio in this movie.
Briefly,
Coolio's there for like 10 frames.
But I guess in Leprechaun, that is star-studded.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because Jennifer Aniston was not a star at the time. So no.
So this one's weird because this one, actually, it's not weird because it's kind of formulaic at this time. We kind of start in the past. So we start back where Ice-T is a young gangster and he is
it's
going
the 70s, baby. You can tell by the fashion and hair.
Oh, yeah. And they're fighting the Leprechaun, and they end up accidentally, like there's an explosion, and the necklace lands on the Leprechaun and turns
Amulet's back. Amulet's back, everybody.
And so the amulet drops on the Leprechaun, turns him into a statue, and Ice-T finds a gold flute that the Leprechaun has, and he's like,
his classic flute, which we've seen through all of these films, and definitely is some new bullshit they just created.
We then fast forward to present day, where we have Postmaster P, Butch, and Stray Bullet.
Bullet, rough. A little bit of foreshadowing.
So these are our 3 protagonists in this film. They are a rap group that is trying to do what they can to make it to Vegas. We're going back to Vegas for some reason, to be a part of a rap competition. They're at a competition, and they're performing, and something goes wrong, and their speakers blow up, and they literally fly out into the stage, out off the stage and into the audience, and into a giant breaking tables, and they fail, and things don't go well. And so they're walking back, and while they're walking back, Ice-T's character, which is Mac Daddy, he's
done good for himself in the last 20 years.
You see Mac Daddy in a limo, and he sees them, and he's like, oh, I heard you rappers, whatever, like, let's come in and let's talk. They go to his place, where there is a statue of a leprechaun with an amulet around his neck in a glass container so that you can't get it. Butch is like touching the glass, and Mac Daddy's like, don't touch that, don't touch my shit.
Why would you put that in your office, Mac Daddy? Come on now.
I mean, I get it. Like, if you want to keep that thing safe, you keep that thing close. So they
like the Annabelle doll.
Yes. That's where they got the idea. So while they're there, they're talking, and you find out that Postmaster P is Postmaster Positive or Positivity, and he wants to he wants to say a good message, and Mac Daddy's all about bitches and hoes and killing people, and so like they can't get to an agreement, and so he kicks them out of their house, and the three of them are like talking, and they're like, fuck him, we're gonna rob him, let's rob him, like all that shit in there is hot, so it doesn't matter, we're gonna go rob him. So they decide to go rob him. They rob him, and in the process, Mac Daddy comes out, and they shoot Mac Daddy. They end up getting the Postmaster P gets the flute, and they steal the amulet off of the statue, and lo and behold, the leprechaun comes back to life. And that's where havoc ensues in the hood. This one was a little bit rough for me. This one was a little bit harder of a watch for me. While I will say Mac Daddy definitely chews up the scene.
He's having a great time.
It is weird how often this movie involves the same bathroom. So in the second one, there's a whole like a bunch of scenes in the bathroom with like during St. Patrick's Day. In this one, they're in the bathroom a lot. In fact, Mac Daddy gives
one of my favorite scenes is Ice-T the Leprechaun smoking up in the bathroom. I'll tell you what. This is because like Leprechaun shows up, and in good pop manners. Is he like Ice-T does not know he's a leprechaun? Is this not under threat? Literally, he's like, "Oh, do you want some?" I was like, "Yeah." See, that's like just like the marijuana code. Like, "Oh, do you want some?" And he gets the leprechaun high. I was like, that's just being nice. That's just like, oh no, I'm not bogarting this. Here you go.
A friend with weed is a friend indeed. But a friend with gold is the best, I'm told.
But what's really weird about this one is, and correct me if I'm wrong, he is more interested in just gold in general because he rips Mac Daddy's finger off because
he's got the ring.
He's got a gold ring, but like it wasn't like it was a part of his treasure, and so that's the part that was like he was just like interested in gold, which again, forget about the leprechaun lore; it's non-existent. Like it's just
not.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. I find the problem with this movie, right? I think, and this is part of kind of why it's hard to connect to. I know for me, the tone is all over the place.
Yes,
it is both a searing drama when Postmaster P is on the screen. This is a drama about like trying to make it out of a system that doesn't want you to, and if you want to be positive, but you have all this stuff against you, and what are you willing to trade for fame? Like, great stuff, right? Also, it has a scene in the beginning when Ice-T is fighting the leprechaun that he pulls multiple weapons out of his fro, including, in the end, a mini baseball bat. So I'm like, movie, where are we on tone here? Because it keeps going back from being real serious, like it takes itself real serious, to like oftentimes when the leprechaun's on, goofy as shit,
For me, I would say that there isn't a specific death in this movie that I was like, I love, but seeing Warwick Davis being shot just a million times throughout this movie.
Yeah, he gets shot. This is the first Leprechaun where guns are involved, I think.
No, because the first one he gets shot by a shotgun because...
Oh, that's a country gun.
Yeah, it's a country gun. It's a country gun.
That's a shotgun! This is not some sort of semi-automatic or Glock situation as we get into later.
Yeah, he gets tore up in this one. So for me, there wasn't like a memorable kill. Do you have one?
I had to go back and look over my notes. The most memorable to me is near the end when the leprechaun explodes a hole through Mac Daddy's torso and kind of looks through. Like, actually, there's 2 torso holes in this movie. Mm-hmm. I guess because they nailed the effect so well. That's always fun. It's always fun. And it's Mac Daddy, it's Ice-T, that's like his, he's very hard to kill in this film. Ice-T, incredibly hard to kill in this film, which I appreciate in a movie where you have a mythological creature, and he's just human.
I will say, out of all of them, this one does have the only different ending. This is the only one of the films where the leprechaun is not defeated.
Oh, yeah. I'll give that. Though, I do appreciate this. I do appreciate that 4-leaf clovers come back.
Yes.
In joint form.
Yes. They make them smoke it.
They make them smoke, which I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that. It's something green that you can roll. I'm like, okay. And it actually comes back again. So I will give them that. That's hilarious. I appreciate that. I appreciate that it has that whole like, oh no, what happened at the end? And turns out, oh no, only Postmaster P's left. But he's controlled by the Leprechaun, and it could be like a metaphor for selling out. But of course, the real end of the film is my favorite part of the film, because it involves the zombie fly girls and the entire musical number. This has nothing to do with the rest of the film, but I feel like that was the reason the film was made, is so you could have Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun singing "I'm a Leprechaun in the Hood, I'm up to no good," and it has the zombie fly girls dancing behind it. And I'm like, this is it. This is why the movie exists. This part right here, I could watch this on a loop.
And honestly, the whole entire movie is literally Postmaster P, who has the flute, realizing that the flute has the ability to make people do what he wants, or makes them like it. And that happens multiple times.
Like they learn the same thing over again. Also, just to mention, not to bum everyone out, it's got some transphobic shit.
Yes.
Fontaine is a great character. Fontaine herself is a great character. The joke is never on her.
Yes.
But there is a whole ew, like it's 2000, but it's got that late 90s trans jokes, which was a fucking scourge and unnecessary. You know, it bums me out.
I do appreciate that. Like the problem I have about it was the fact that they're like, oh, we're desperate, we've got nowhere else to go, and then that's where they go because they've got no other option. Which, like, in reality, like it's probably very true. Like.
It's a nice apartment with like a roof access so they can have a party. She's amazing and kind and open, and like I'm like, that would be the first person you should go to.
Well, the thing I was saying is, like, they're saying it's the last person that they would go to because ew, it's gross, but also that's the person that would probably take care of you the most, because like within communities, the communities that are hurt the most, or the ones that are targeted the most, are usually the communities in which are the most open and friendly, because they have been hurt so many times before.
And the movie shows that. The movie portrays that. As I said, the portrayal of Fontaine is not the problem. It's that whole, like, we have to say this is ew because we're all 12-year-olds emotionally.
Yes. And it's a horror film. Was there nudity in this one?
Good question. There's not. I don't think the Fly Girls got nude. They were just in the shiny gold dresses with the sunglasses, which I love that look. I love that look. It's simple, it's classic. No, because there's not a love interest.
Yeah, I don't
remember there being a love interest in this one.
I don't think that there is. I'm like literally looking to see.
It's about friendship. It's about friendship. It's really about these three guys.
The most it says is mild. A woman in a bra and panties is seen kissing a shirtless man. That is the most that happens.
Yeah. Oh, this movie, apparently Leprechaun's into sex in this movie. Didn't seem super interested. Even in space, it was more like, oh, well, I'll be king. Not like, I want to get down with the hot princess, right?
Yeah.
This one, he's all like, he's auditioning zombie fly girls, and it's implied that he might be having sex with them to death. Like, that's implied at one point. You don't get to see. I'm like, what is happening? Again, another Leprechaun bit of lore that now Leprechaun's horny. Well, he went to space, came back, and he's horny now.
I mean, technically, we have we know that he is interested in women because he tries to get married in the second one,
right?
And
he wants a litter.
Yeah,
it sounds like it's less like you're hot and more like I need to make more little leprechauns. Whereas by the time he's in the hood, he's a bachelor and he's happy to be a bachelor. He doesn't want to get tied down.
Yes.
No more kids.
Yeah. So this one to me lost it. So like we went up with 4. I thought 4 was great. In the Hood, I lost it for me. So to me that went down. I'm gonna say In the Hood is not. It's probably a 4. Like if you're gonna see a movie and you want it in the Hood, I'm not gonna suggest this one. I'm gonna suggest the next one.
Fascinating to me. Because here's the thing, I think I'm also a 4. I feel like if I had to judge between the first one and this one, I think the first one is tonally makes more sense.
Yeah.
And is it works. Plus, it's production values at this point. Like this one's absolutely. I think only the first 2 were theatrically released, and now we are deep into the direct-to-video stuff, and it looks it.
Oh yeah. So earlier I was talking to you about, talking to people about, that goes to Vegas, goes to space, goes to In the Hood. I was like, where do you think the 6th and final film, where do you think they go?
Where else could they go?
Oh my God, where? Oh my God. Maybe this one is the one where they go in the past. I said, no, they go back to the hood.
Yeah, they haven't left, but they are also going back. This is the one I suspect was a separate script that they added a Leprechaun to. Of all of the movies, this is the one I think that there was distinct parts of this that were not Leprechaun involved.
Sure, I can see that. I will say that it's so weird to go back to the hood and it not be connected whatsoever to the first in the hood. None of these movies feel like they're connected. It's the same Leprechaun, but none of them are connected whatsoever.
Yeah. If it wasn't Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun, this would just be separate movies.
Oh yeah. So this one, the sixth and final one into this film or into this video that we're going to be talking about. This one, 3 years later, 2003, Back to the Hood, starts off with a well-animated intro.
Yep.
I loved the intro to this one. I thought it was very good. This one to me
set me up.
Yeah,
expect things.
Yeah, it came in, gave you some lore, gave you like the history of like all of the leprechauns were in the world, and then they all went back to nature except for one. This one,
they were supposed to connect, like they're protect the king's gold. But when the king died, that was not necessary anymore. But as you said, one of them, I'm not going back to the woods. You know where he's going back to?
The hood.
Thank you.
This one, we meet our characters. This one we're back to a group of characters. So we've got a handful of characters.
I couldn't track everybody. I'm going to be real honest. It got to too many people. Sure. I'm like, I got to wait till they winnow it down a bit. Like in certain horror films where you're like, you know what? I'm not going to remember anyone's name until there are like 4 people left.
So in this one, there is 4 main characters. There's 2 male characters and 2 female characters. There's a whole bunch of ancillary characters all over the place. There's Emily, who is the main female character, she works at a hair salon and she's saving money so that she can go off to college. Then there is Rory, who is Emily's ex, and he wants to be good, but you know, he realizes that selling drugs is like the way to go, and so he's selling drugs. Yep, and he's got a motorcycle and he's cool, but he's also like protective because he's like protective of other people. Then you have Lisa, who is like the best friend. She's kind of a flat character. There's not a lot to her.
She's the best friend. Yeah, that's her character.
Then there's Watson, who is the stoner. Watson is just the stoner character. Yep. That is who he is. Everything he does has to do with the fact that he is stoned and he wants to smoke weed, and that's all it is. So, you know, Watson's being like pulled down by another gang. That other gang is like trying to get him to pay him back money, and he doesn't want to. Then Rory gets involved and like hits the dude with a bat, and so now this other gang is like wants to take Rory out. And then Emily and Lisa, they're upset because Rory's around and that used to be his ex, so they decide to go to a psychic to figure out their future. The psychic then tells them. The psychic then tells them you're going to have unfathomable riches, but deny it because the cost is going to be too great. Foreshadowing.
But that's a rough thing to say, folks who are financially struggling. The movie makes it very clear that like they keep getting like life keeps kicking everyone in the nuts in this. Like there's always like, oh, then your car breaks down, and then like that guy owes money to some rough people. So I think they do set up like stakes, or like it's not like greed as much as just like a break. Something to get them out of a situation.
It's a glimmer of light for them. And they're willing to do whatever it takes to get that glimmer of light. Well, the glimmer of light in this one ends up being an evil leprechaun. So they end up
half hour into the movie. Besides the prologue, it takes a full half hour for the leprechaun to show up. That's my theory about how that beginning part might be a whole other movie, because there is not a hint of a leprechaun until they go to like the fortune teller witch. You know?
Yeah. Well, and they don't even show. They hint at it, and then like the next day they're having a picnic, but instead of having a picnic at no, we have to go backwards because we have to
go about the pastor, right?
We have to talk about the pastor, which is after this animated scene, the best fight scene ever in the Leprechaun series.
It's a whole nother movie. And I'm like, why aren't we following this guy?
There's a pastor and the leprechaun, and they're in a construction site, and they're fighting each other, and like they end up just like the leprechaun kills the pastor, and the pastor like takes the leprechaun and disables the leprechaun with the this was the amulet as well, if I remember. So I had to look up on Wikipedia, and it says in the present Los Angeles, Pastor Father Jacobs finds the gold and intends to use it for to finance a building of youth center.
Yeah.
After a struggle, Jacob banishes the leprechaun by splashing him with holy water laced with four-leaf clover, summoning a demonic hand and dragging him underground.
I don't remember that. I feel like I would. Jake, I'm gonna be honest. Would I not remember demonic hand dragging a leprechaun into the ground?
I don't remember the demonic hand, but I definitely remember the priest holding a glass jar with a cross on it that was glowing green, and he like holds it out. And so I definitely remember that.
Okay. Was someone like using the working script and did that? You know what? Maybe you know what? I was watching a lot of Leprechaun in a small amount of time.
Yes.
There is a chance that my brain, for some reason, forgot something as badass as that.
So this badass scene in the very beginning, that's where you find out, oh my God, the youth center is going to be built, but then the pastor died and there went the money, so that it stopped.
Another example of hope gone because of money.
Exactly.
Money disappearing. So yeah.
So they have this picnic on the construction site of the youth center. And Emily's mad because Watts invited Rory because Rory offered to buy food.
Rory's got money.
Rory's got money.
Because Rory's got money, he can buy food, which I can understand. Especially the stoner character's like, nah, we should be friends with someone. I know he's your ex, but he also has cash and I'm hungry.
Yes,
I can understand that.
Love this. And they turn around, and as Rory and Emily are talking, Emily falls through a hole in the ground and finds the treasure chest full of gold, where the gold is worth like 500 each coin or 5,000. It's drastically increased how much each
inflation,
each
y'all.
And then they're like, oh my God, this is so great. We could each have 50 and we'd be rich. Oh my God, this is amazing. So they
change it.
Yeah, they each get 50 gold pieces, and they're like, well, Rory, you're not allowed to do bad stuff. And then Watts, you're allowed to not, you can't use it smoking weed. And of course, they do the things that they're told not to do.
Yeah.
And so, like, this one to me, it's not the best death scene, but it is a memorable death scene. Emily is.
I think I know what you're talking about, and it might be my favorite.
The back massage?
Oh, no, never mind. I have a whole other one.
So Emily is working at this like hair salon place, and she's gonna quit, and the owner yells at her. She's like, no, you need to get in there and you need to rub her back and make it good. And I know you're quitting, but I was here protecting you when you didn't have nothing. You do that. So she's like, fuck, fine. So she goes in there, she's rubbing this woman's back. She's like, you better be putting lotion in there. And she's like, fine. She leaves to go get lotion.
More.
The leprechaun shows up
for no reason.
And starts rubbing her back because she's like, you better rub. And she's like, oh, those fingers are just, they're amazing.
He's doing like the walk massage with his little leprechaun feet. Oh my God. This woman has done nothing, by the way. She's a jerk. But she's not connected to the gold. She's not stolen a thing from the leprechaun. This is like sometimes the leprechaun just, kills for the fun of it.
Yeah. And then, the death itself wasn't spectacular, which is he just like snaps her neck and then leaves her.
Yeah. It's just like, it's just little feet.
Yeah. What death were you thinking of? Which one were you thinking?
Oh, well, this is about the same time because we're dealing with like when they have a big party.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the main stoner guy. This is another stoner guy.
Yes, the main stoner guy, and this is actually my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah,
because I don't think there's a lot of favorite deaths in this, but this is fun.
Yeah.
Was this after he was the main stoner guy was showing off his bong collection, and he was like
showing his bong collection? Oh yeah, this one's great. This one I've had forever. Oh, this I couldn't use it. He's like, oh no, you're good. Mi casa, su casa. You're good. Go for it, man. Yeah. And he's using it, and he sees one of the gold coins on the counter and swipes it and puts it in his pocket. The leprechaun shows up, and they smoke out. Again.
Yeah, first they smoke out. Again, someone shows up, and he's like, hey, do you want some? And you know what? Everything goes fine up until the guy like bends over and the coin comes out. Because Leprechaun's cool. Leprechaun's all about smoking stuff. But until there's one little thing we got to put in here before, because it's important to say that remember that this pot is not the best because it has been expanded with clovers.
Yes.
They established this. I'm going to give the movie, again, credit for establishing a thing. Because I think this guy's complaining about, like, oh, I can taste the clover.
Yeah, because Watson complains to Rory because Rory's the one that smells the weed, and he's like, bring it in. There's no way I put clovers in that. Just bring it in.
Clovers! Clovers! The well-known thing where, like, you can extend your pot with clovers. Anyway, that's just an important thing to know. But yeah, so the gold falls out, and of course the leprechaun's like,
they're getting stoned, and the part I love is that he gets so stoned he like giggles and falls to the floor.
Leprechaun is stoned right now, everybody. He is stoned.
And that's when he like bends over and the coin falls out of his pocket, and then the leprechaun becomes sober real fucking quick.
Real quick. Oh yeah, real quick. And let's see, what kind of weapon could be around that you could like end some guy? It turns out bongs not just for smoking. Sometimes they're for stabbing into the torso.
And I will say throughout the franchise, there have been, and especially in this one, a lot of times where objects that should not be used as weapons or would like break or could not pierce someone's body, the leprechaun has supernatural strength and makes it happen. So he stabs him with a bong, does not break it, doesn't break the bong, just stabs him straight through and takes his gold piece back.
Yeah, I'll again, anything the leprechaun does, I'll probably buy because he is a magical creature. I'll give it to him. Okay. And this leads to probably my favorite scene in the movie, and that's weird because again, I think this has tonal issues too. Like leprechaun shit silly, everything else deadly serious personal drama, right? Leprechaun is still stoned. And he goes into the kitchen where the other guy is making, like, he's got the munchies, right? So you have an entire scene where the guy keeps missing the leprechaun because he's going in, I think he takes the bong, then he's going around, and at one point he ends up in the fridge smoking, and the guy just keeps missing, and he's like, where did my bong go? Where did my snack go? The leprechaun took it like it's a fucking Scooby-Doo commercial.
And he's like yelling at the party. He's like, damn, why you gonna take my shit? Like,
and it's like, there's a leprechaun behind you. Anyway, does not match the tone of anything else in the film. It's my favorite because it's a little wacky, like that tobacco. Oh
yeah. Well, there's a couple other like side characters that you're talking about. There's Rory's new girlfriend who ends up like is just with him because he's got gold. She ends up taking a gold coin and melting it down and using it as a gold tooth. Which
you're like, that's not good with a leprechaun around. You don't want to be putting gold in you.
No. But then there's a whole entire scene with some cops that I loved.
Okay. Yeah. This is a pretty. Yep. Yeah. With the leprechaun versus cops.
Yep. The leprechauns versus the cop, where it gets to a point where he takes a baton and stabs it through one of them through their through their eye socket and kills them that way. But then there's the other cop where he rips his leg off and the cop's like standing there and he's like,
doesn't know right at first. I'll give this. They shoot it well, where we don't know exactly what happened, and then we see I think basically waist up on the cop, and he's like, huh, and he looks down, and the camera tracks where he's looking down, and you just see one total missing leg, and then scan over to the leprechaun holding it like a little shit, like I got your leg.
So good.
And I will give it. It comes back. Because we see the leprechaun's like, I'm going to drive this cop car. Then he looks, again, a bit of humor in this film that is not very humorous. He looks down at the pedals, and as a short person, I understand this. He's like, shit, because he can't reach it. But later on, when he shows up, and this is great because he shows up later in the cop car, and everyone's like, oh shit, the cops, right? And then they see a foot come down with a cop shoe and a cop leg, and they're like, oh no, it's a cop. And then the rest of the leprechaun comes out, and the leg drops. I'm like, you know what? You set something up and you used it. I will give the movie that credit. Yeah,
I love it. There ends up being like this infinite money glitch that they discover because they end up like having a thing where they open up the chest and it's got more gold in it, and then they dump it out and they open it up again and it's full again. They're like, oh my god, we can have this money, and then like, no, we have to get rid of it. Like,
what did that fortune teller say? I'm sure because deaths are starting to happen closer to them. Yeah, like they're starting to get to the like, and then we start losing like a character, like her best friend.
Yeah. That we end up losing Lisa. We end up losing Lisa. Lisa gets killed off. They're trying to convince to put the money. Watts agrees. Emily agrees. Rory's a little bit iffy on it, but then he's like, fine, we'll do this. Then Rory takes the gold and steals it and runs out. And they're like, oh no, like, oh my god, he's a bad guy. I thought he was changed, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
well, you find out he's doing it to pull the leprechaun away. The reason
Yeah.
I like this movie is I do feel like the characters grew as individuals, and that's the
I can see
reason
that
I like.
argument.
Like, I feel like all of the previous Leprechaun films, who is a dick in the beginning is usually a dick in the end, and you know, like there isn't any sort of growth. Versus this, I feel like the characters actually grew as characters, and like they were better off as individuals outcoming this situation. Yeah, their friends are dead, but they themselves grew as people. Like if we go back to the first Leprechaun movie, Jennifer Aniston's character is such a terrible character from the beginning to the end. And I feel like we see that growth in these characters, and even in the last one, we don't really see it. We actually see the opposite. We see Postmaster P doing whatever it takes to be big, and he gets corrupted and doesn't try to back away from it. He just ends up falling down the line. Versus this one, you're seeing these characters grow as individuals, you know?
Yeah, okay.
And that's why I personally, on this one, this one is an 8 for me.
Wow, this is gonna be, I think, the widest separation, because I'm like 3. It's the one I would watch the least. I think for me, the tonal issues were real rough.
Sure.
Like, one, I like a wackier Leprechaun. We've established that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if
I mean,
just trying
4.
to- yeah.
4's up there.
Yeah. But if I'm just gonna like judge this movie for what it is, it still has like wacky moments, and then we're desperate people trying to make it through, and we've lost our friends at the end, but at the end we're on a motorcycle together, so it's okay. Like, I want to open my heart to that and be happy that they're gonna build a life, but also I'm like, I don't know. Though I did like the fortune teller, who apparently had magic powers, and it matters not. Just for no reason, all of a sudden she has magic powers, has a bit of a fight with a leprechaun and loses. I'm like, what about her? What's happening? Oh no, we're back. Okay. I mean, it's fine. I guess I just wasn't in the mood for a drama, and the movie keeps becoming a drama.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like while I agree that tonally that it had both wacky and seriousness to it, I felt like it because it had a payoff, it was better for me versus In the Hood, which it didn't have a payoff. It was just shit sucks, and it's just always gonna suck, and it doesn't matter. Versus this one where it was like, I feel like this was like a redemption. I feel like someone made In the Hood and they were like, no, we need to. This wasn't good enough. We need why you would choose the Leprechaun franchise as the one that needs to be the good one. But you know, so this gets to our final part, and I think this is gonna be the hardest part. This is the part where we have to agree on the worst to the best. So
we're not going to agree. Jake, I am immovable in my Leprechaun opinions.
So I think for me, I voted Leprechauns 2 as my worst, and Leprechaun in Hood as my second to worst. My Leprechaun 3 was rough too. I think you voted Back to the Hood and In the Hood the worst, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because that's 3 and 4, I think.
That's 5 and 6. Yeah.
Well, I mean the numbers I gave them.
Oh
boy. Yeah, I see where we're doing. Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely those are my least favorite, I think.
So I'm going to give a little relinquish, and I'm going to say that In the Hood was rough because the tonal, the deaths weren't as great. It was kind of unrememberable, and the fact is that we saw a lot of the same story over and over again. I'm gonna say In the Hood is number 6, the worst out of all of them.
Okay.
I'm gonna push you a little bit, and I'm gonna push you a little bit on Leprechaun 2.
Okay. All right.
And the reason I'm gonna push you a little bit is it is very unrememberable. Like, there are a handful of moments that were decent, but were done better in the other ones. So the monkey's paw death of the gold showing up in his chest or in his belly, fun, interesting, great. They do it better in Leprechauns in Vegas. They do it better in Leprechaun 3. So I feel that one's probably the 5th worst one out of all of them.
I don't. Here's the. Okay.
Or do you think maybe Jennifer Aniston might fit that spot? Like that?
I don't think I can rate the first one that low as much as it's kind of boring. I keep saying it looks like a film, and I hate that I keep using that argument, but also literally like someone had to light that in a certain way, and they used physical film. They used film. They couldn't just shoot digitally, and it's fine, you know. Okay, so we're starting from the bottom. Okay. I will give you this, and if only to escape this room.
Okay.
I would be okay with. See, because you're not going to let me put Back to the Hood at the bottom, are you?
I'm not number 6. I think that it's better than In the Hood.
I can't. I think I could say I could go with 2 being the second worst, but I would watch 2 again, and this is the tonal thing. I literally just prefer my Leprechaun to be ridiculous, and 2 is when that starts, and I appreciate
You're telling me that smoking weed and stabbing him and the foot wasn't ridiculous. I think that those are pretty ridiculous.
It's just not enough. It's just not enough. Like, for me, it's just too serious. I'm so worried about these characters, and then the Leprechaun shows up, and then I go back to, like, the hard life that they're just trying to deal with, and then the Leprechaun shows up.
Okay, well, then what about Leprechauns 3? Because I wrote that one as my least favorite, Leprechaun in Vegas, because the
Never. It does not go in the bottom. No. Are you telling me that I have to choose between 2 and 3? Like, that's the answer?
Look,
like, I'm giving you choice.
I'm giving you Leprechaun in the Hood as 6. We have agreed on that one. That one is 6.
No, I will watch In the Hood before Back to the Hood.
What? That's insane.
Because it's a zombie fly girl. Because of the last scene. Because of the musical number. I cannot be budged on that. That gave me so much joy. It made up for anything else that happened.
That movie is so bad. That is so.
But here's the thing. I think that you are very You're like, oh no, it's a depressing ending, right?
Yes.
Which it is, but because of the coda at the end, I forget the ending, and I go, yeah, no, it ended with the Leprechaun doing a musical number with the zombie fly girls. Like, for me, the movie doesn't end with the corruption of Postmaster P. And I was like, no, the Leprechaun and the zombie fly girls go on tour.
That feels like the post credit scene to me. Like, that's
I'm not arguing that. This is not connected to the movie at all, but when I've watched it, it's the last thing I see, and that's what stays in my brain.
Okay, so then you give me your least to highest. We'll go with that, and I'll give you mine. And we'll have them side by side, and we'll let the audience pick what they think is most accurate.
Okay, least is Back to the Hood, and that is mostly because in many ways I feel it is not a Leprechaun film. Okay. The Leprechaun is in it, but it's not a Leprechaun film.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give this to you. This is for Jake. This is for Jake. I will say 5 is Leprechaun 2. I will give you that.
Okay.
I'll give you that. I would have fought that more, but I'm like, okay. Because then I'll put Leprechaun in the Hood.
Okay.
Right? Okay, I'll put that there. Then the original.
Okay.
And then 3, and then 4. But here's the weird argument. If someone asks me which of the Leprechaun films to watch, I tell them 3. I'm like, do not start with 4. I love 4. It's my favorite one. Don't start with 4. You're setting yourself up for a disaster. You gotta dip your toes in a little. I think 3 is the most Leprechauniest of all the Leprechauns. Okay. For me, it gives me all the Lucky Charms I want in a Leprechaun movie.
So, for me, my order is Leprechaun 3 is the worst. Then we've got Leprechaun in the Hood, and then we go to Leprechaun 2. Then we go to Leprechaun 1.
You had me put 2 lower than you did. You're a son of a bitch. That's some Asmodeus bullshit. That's what that is.
So,
okay, now I see.
Yeah, and then to me it is Leprechauns Back to the Hood, and then In Space is the number 1.
Wow.
So we at least agree on the number 1. It is the goofiest, wildest one. I also agree it is not the one you start with.
No, don't do it. Don't do that to yourself.
So my order in which I saw these movies is I saw Back to the Hood. No, I'm sorry. I saw In the Hood first, then I saw In Space, and then I didn't see any of them until this weekend when I saw all of them.
Amazing. I also feel like, so what's interesting is some of these have been marinating in my head for a while, and I just revisited them. I wonder if that also affects, I've got some nostalgia for remembrances, both good and bad, of these films that just re-sparked. Yeah. So I'm sure that has something to do with it too. 100%. I don't know if I could go just raw into any of these, having not seen them before. I don't know what my brain would do. No. You have to let them just soak in and make peace with the Leprechaun ever-changing mythos.
Well, I want all of you to head down in the comments and let us know if you think I'm right or if Megan's right. Whose order is best for this? Until next time, where we're going to be challenging ourselves to go through the Critters films next. So stick around. I have not seen any of the Critters films, and I will just say I am happy that I have gotten all of the Leprechaun stuff out of my brain so I can stop annoying the people around me, and then soon insert all of the Critter stuff in my brain. Stick around as we are going to go through 4 total franchises this year. If you like it, we did skip a movie or 2 from the Leprechaun series, which is there is some remakes and reboots of the series. We did not do that. We're also not going to do the reboot of the Critter season, but if you guys really, really like the series, there are a couple that we skipped in all of them, all of the reboots for all of the franchises. If you really like it, we'll make a bonus episode that is just those. So
Jake, you're making promises. Oh no!
I'm not making a promise. I'm making a promise that if they do something, then we'll do something.
No, you're kind-hearted folks who'd never steal gold from a leprechaun. You don't have to do this.
Do it. Go to the comments, share it with your friends. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Until next time, my name is Jake, and Megan, say goodbye.
Yay, this was fun. Even when you're wrong, I still like you, Jake. It's okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.